Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. So first off, apologies if the audio doesn't quite match up with what's going on the screen. It's just for some reason Premiere Pro decided to stop working and I kept thinking it was my microphone, but using a different recorder altogether, I find there's actually nothing wrong with my microphone. It's Premiere Pro. So yeah. Moving on, for today's video, it is a magical girl painting, because for some reason I just had to get that out of my system and I really wanted to. I say that because I do, I don't know if you follow along with all the art I create, or especially I'm posting. It's like a really weird mix of things that I like to paint, and my guys tend to be very like, ooh, spicy, sexy kind of thing. And then the girls are just like a mixed bag of whatever I'm just like feeling in the mood for. I don't know if anybody else just kind of has this thing, and I know a lot of people I hear always say this thing with the struggle of their own style, but then if somebody else is like looking at it, they're like, no, you do have a style. So I don't know. I've been told I have a style. I don't see it. I mean, like, I just, you know what, it's a good thing I do traditional art, because I know a lot of people joke it's like the way you find out it's like an AI artist or something is when you look at all their like art and it's all completely different and random stuff. And yeah, it's such a mixed salad of things. Like sometimes I like to do cutesy chibi animals randomly, like once or twice a year, and then sometimes I'll like do a whole other different style, mostly ink, and I just like experimenting with art. I don't know about anybody else, but I just really enjoy experimenting and trying a lot of things. And yeah, so apologies on any rambliness as well, because also after some kind of Windows update, all of my programs and everything is working really badly, and I don't know what's going on. It might even be my computer, because I see the thing I was sitting on, it's like at an angle. I have some kind of error code, which a quick Google search doesn't make sense with like how my computer's running though. So yeah, it's a lot of fun IT crap that I'm gonna have to go through and figure out, and hope that like it keeps together and I don't have to chuck it out a window. Moving on back to the artwork, I decided also, I was actually inspired by somebody else's artwork that I wanted a girl in kind of like a pleated skirt. And then I thought, okay, magical girl would be kind of fun. And I wanted to be a more dynamic pose with like perspective and foreshortening. And again, I kind of like fell short on like the background. I guess the background kind of just like inspires me of like the Genshin wishes system or something in the end when I finished it. That's literally what I was feeling. So Genshin probably inspired a lot of this, as per usual. So yeah. So for the technique, how I was going about painting this was different how I normally have been painting watercolor paintings. I typically like to do a full color wash on the whole thing rather than doing section by section. I think it's called like tile painting or something. For whatever reason, I had chosen to do this. I think it was just experimenting, but I'm gonna, for the next one, after even the current painting I'm working on, we'll go back to doing it the way I was doing it before, just because I find it a lot better for myself. I think it's good always to experiment and try different techniques out and figure out what works best, sort of thing, and what you're most comfortable with in terms of the method that you are painting. This still came up with an ugly stage or something where I was panicking and thinking it wasn't gonna be any good. There's also the fact that there was all base layers that were going on as well, and I still had to layer up. I think I was most nervous when I was doing the cloud background part, just because I wasn't entirely sure how that was gonna look. But in the end, I really liked it, mostly because I really had a color palette in mind, and I think that's what worked out the best, that I had an approximate idea of how this was gonna look. And I believe that's always the most important, no matter how you plan to execute a painting. So there is this one part that I got really confused by once I was working on that perspective hand. I was on call with friends and chatting and stuff like that, and I don't know where the line art of this was, where I transferred, and I usually keep it around because, you know, sometimes the transfer doesn't always 100% turn out right, so you want to kind of have some kind of reference of a strong line art of how your artwork looks. So because it had also been a bit of time, like a couple of days, maybe even a week, since I remembered exactly how it looked, I kept trying to paint in a fifth finger, thinking I was missing a finger. And I realized after trying to paint it in and everything and referencing my imagery that there was a bent finger that I had included, like her pinky finger is actually bent. I don't know if that fully comes across. Maybe once you see the final, it will. But for me, I had completely missed it. And I was basically trying to add a sixth finger in terms of like, not counting the thumb, I meant like fifth, but yeah. And yeah, that was pretty hilarious. I don't know if anybody else has experienced that, of just completely forgetting how they drew something. Originally, I really liked how I had drawn the hand, and I think in the end for the finished one, I liked it a lot more because I always struggle through the ugly phase of, you know, feeling a little bit unsure of how things are going to be, but I still push on. I still keep going because so far, I've enjoyed how most of my artworks have finished. Again, apologies if the recording is a little disjointed from the footage and not directly commenting to every detail of interest on screen. Yeah, hopefully I'm gonna learn DaVinci Resolve and make things a lot easier because I'm so done with Adobe bugs. I have to say, one of the most frustrating things about Adobe is I swear they just find that they're trying to do Band-Aid solution of slapping AI everywhere. It's like slapping AI on a structure, an AI button on a structure that's completely falling apart. Because, you know, if you have some bugs on just like a simple feature you kind of need to get done, which this program is built to make something without AI technically. You can do all of this without hitting any of the AI buttons on all of their programs. That's just how it was. So now it feels really weird where there's a lot of bugs in their softwares and programs, whatever you want to call it. But none of them have really been repaired in a sense, or like a lot of them that I have noticed personally. I know a lot of people always like notice specific bugs depending on what they're doing kind of thing, and it's an incredibly frustrating feeling when it's just the latest update is, oh, they added an AI button, great. I'm not entirely sure why the recording thing isn't working. I feel like it's like a whole cascading effect of something maybe to do with the Windows update, maybe also Adobe itself, because Adobe breaks easily anyway too. It's just like made of glass essentially. I think like one quick troubleshooting something somebody mentioned hurt some, just like, I don't know what that means, and it's been working this entire time and I can record on the sound recorder app. Why is Adobe always causing so many issues with the types of files and everything? So headache inducing. But I see a lot of people have gripes with Adobe and a lot of struggles, so yeah, I hope everybody else's time with it is going a little bit better this week, because I am having an absolutely hellish time. Even especially, most frustratingly, my work stuff is really bad. I have to play like IT guy basically the entire day trying to fix everything, because I don't think the actual IT guy can help me with the Adobe suite at all, sadly. So here I begin to define the shooting stars a little bit more, which I was kind of very satisfied with. Rocky start, of course, to I guess every watercolor with the outlines for me, but I was quite enjoying it quite a bit. I think what made me most happy is because I really love the combinations. It kind of reminds me of those popsicle colors too, the pinky orangey ones. It's all like kind of fake flavors, but they taste so good, and they're just like those summery sweet colors. Sorry, I'm like hardcore reminiscing about summer and wondering when it if ever will be back, because in Canada the winters just feel like they last forever. Now here where I start working on the shooting star she's actually catching, it kind of gets a little bit iffy. Mostly because this is the point where I realize I hadn't really given quite a bit of detailed line art compared to the rest of it. And it's more in the foreground, so maybe it should have been a little bit more defined shape than just a very simple kind of diamond twinkle shape. Maybe like a gem or something. So was not my favorite moment because thinking on the fly and trying to paint it in, it kind of got very Plus I think when I was tracing the lines of how the shine worked, I didn't really like the placement of it. Like I was looking back at the line art, it didn't look bad, but I guess sometimes when you're like coloring stuff in, it can look vastly different, and it was looking a little weird. I think I kind of pulled it off in the end. Not the greatest, but it's all right. I still kind of overall like the piece, and maybe one day if I think of something better, I can like tweak it. Does anybody else like think while they're working on their artwork, oh, later on I'm just gonna fix it again. I'll come back to it, and potentially never do. I kind of hope I do kind of fix things here or there. I think I have gone back to certain artworks and fixed a few things. So, Editor Anna here, and I really want to freaking lose my mind with these voice recordings. Because now, all of a sudden, while I was trying to import another piece of voice recording, it just sort of did some really funky-ass crap. And on top of everything, I tried to record more on the sound recorder, and it kind of crashed out and whatever. So, really don't know why, of all things, that kind of microphone crap is like crashing out. I mean, that has nothing to do with my graphics card as far as I know. Is that a CPU thing? I don't know. Anybody else completely losing their mind and struggling with voice recording crap and somehow having errors? I'm not really sure what it is that could all of a sudden be magically like causing that. When I did check, this microphone did have drivers up to date or something. So yeah, I don't know what it is. My graphics card is up to date and everything. You know what? Ultimately, it could just be a Windows update. So yeah, I did hear that one friend's work computer was completely cooked because of a Windows update. So yeah, I seriously regret doing that. I don't have it on auto update, or at least it says it's on auto update, but it makes me do it anyway. I don't know what's up, and I hate it. I hate it so much. So yeah, screw updates. I never see the point of them, other than maybe like securing stuff more. That's fine, but often I feel like so many things get broken with it, and it's really frustrating because this is the first time that so much of the stuff that I use on a daily gets completely screwed up by it, and it's really frustrating. So yeah, thanks for sticking with me in this journey, and hope you're enjoying the content. At this point, there isn't too much to talk about anyway, since I have switched to actually using some more mixed media and touch-ups and stuff like that. So for the mixed media, I have lately been using the Arrtx acrylic markers that I got. I got like a whole set just because I think for a 2-pack there was like a discount and I was gifting one, so I figured it was kind of cheaper to do it that way, I guess, and try it myself, because I did have like the Posca pen just in white, and my 2 Posca white pens, the brush marker and the thin one, dried out, and I kind of really wanted like to try out a little bit of more of the markers and just like maybe more options of color. I wasn't thinking that I would be super into just using them as like one artwork, as I had tried it out and I'm not really like the solid graphic kind of artwork kind of person. I haven't done like a whole lot of that, so I figured mixed media is a great spot to use it for, especially for outlines, even though it's like they are a bit chunkier and thicker, so it'd be harder to get like too fine of lines. But they kind of complement a lot of the watercolors I was already using, the colors that were in the set, which was really awesome. So that has been a lot of fun, adding to an addition of getting a little bit more contrast for the line art and colored line art. And also my Polychromos pencil crayons. I only have like I bought a 12 set, and then so far I've collected maybe 8 colors that I thought were kind of additional colors that I already use and would be useful. I love the Polychromos because they are hard lead. They leave less of that pencil-y texture that you the grainy texture you would get, and more of a smooth one, which is perfect if you want to get like a colorful line art. So that's what they're excellent for, I find. And like also coloring in like more subtle shading in there, because otherwise you know, I don't like the idea of like burnishing and you know, making that very, very solid smooth stuff when it's like a mixed media subject, because you're usually, I guess I don't think like watercolor paper would be good for that, especially not cold press. And that would be a little bit weird, because I think you'd probably end up getting rid of the texture, I assume, or something, some weird stuff. And yeah, so that's kind of my go-to choice. I do have Prismacolor set as well of 24 that I've had for a long while now. And again, like I usually will sharpen them to a fine point, but I haven't like used them so much for this artwork though. And those are like, I think the 2 mixed media ones I might have added, plus that sparkly watercolor or something in the corner. And now for the final result. What do you think? Did I accomplish that perspective and foreshortening? If you've gotten this far in the video, thanks so much for watching. And if you enjoyed it, I hope you can drop a like, and if you want to see more, I hope you will subscribe. See you on the next one.